And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Monday, May 3rd. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. A Monday morning, a little rain falling, but it's going to be a magnificent day, and we're glad to have you with us. On the air for Absolute Kubota, and T.R. Kirby is here this morning. T.R., good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. You know, as soon as I walked in this morning, actually, you must have been in the truck waiting for me to come before you wanted to come in or whatever. But I did walk in the studio first. First thing I did is turn the calendar over to May there. We got a brand new month here. May arrived on Saturday, of course, and today is the 3rd. We got 5 Mondays in this month. However, the last one is Memorial Day, and we won't be here, so we'll see you 4 Mondays anyway.
Yes, sir.
If all goes according to plan.
Right, correct. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main, and we just got the great word from Don Hamlet last week that T.R. Kirby knows all about hay equipment, and says he's been doing it all his life. And I guess since you were a fairly young boy, you've probably worked in hay, hadn't you?
Yes, sir, I have. I've of course, grew up on a farm here in Wilson County. It's been a good growing up, good upraising. But the hay tools is kind of my niche area, I would say. It just, I enjoy working on them, working with customers, and just fulfilling their needs in that segment.
Yeah. Well, most of the time we start cutting hay in May, and I would imagine by the 20th there'll start being hay cut. Would you guess that's about right?
Yes, sir. I was sleeping last night, and you can hear the grass out there growing, getting ready to start cutting that hay. So it'll be here before you know it. If you need any last minute hay tool adjustment or repairs or anything, be sure to come in and get that there at 1506 West Main Street. Go ahead and let us work you in before you start, so we know everything's going to work properly.
What all do you have? I guess I don't know whether we cut hay a little bit different from what we did 10 years ago. It's been a long time since I cut any hay.
Right, correct. Yes, sir. So used to it, mainly hay was cut with a sickle mower. We've pretty much all upgraded to disc mowers, and then the new trend is the disc mower conditioner, just to speed up the dry down time, and so you're able to put that crop in a package much faster to beat out weather and get on to doing other farm tasks. Kubota has a full range of hay tools, anything from a 6-foot disc mower up to a 5x6 hay roller.
Mm-hmm. Well, as one of the trends we have seen is where it might used to take a half a dozen people to get in a crop of hay. A lot of people one person can do it now.
Yes, it's definitely a task for one person. It's a whole lot easier if you have at least 2 people out there. You can have 2 people driving 2 different tractors and just make the process that much faster. But a lot of it
doesn't take 8 or 10.
Right. No, sir, it doesn't, because you don't have to pick up the small square bales.
Yeah.
Of course, Kubota makes just round bales, round balers, and then it makes a speedy process there for getting up that crop.
Well, do you have a place where you can do a little demonstration if somebody wants to come see a little bit about the operation of the equipment?
Yes, sir.
I don't guess you have a hay field, but
no, sir. But you tell me, hey, I'm looking at purchasing a hay roller. I would love to see how this one works. Come in and see me, and we can possibly schedule a time to bring out one of our rollers and demonstrate that to you.
Okay, you'll even come and visit.
Mm-hmm,
all
correct.
Right, okay. But there's a lot that goes into the Kubota product. There's a lot of quality there, and we talk about that a lot because they couldn't offer the extended warranty that they do if they didn't have a good product there.
Right. On hay tools, there's a 2-year warranty on all hay tools. 3 years on the cutter box and cutter bar and gearbox on the disc mowers, and then the 2-year 15,000 bale warranty on the hay balers. And you can even extend that out to 4 years, 30,000 bales, and that's a very popular option because if a hay roller breaks down, that's a big ordeal because that can keep you from putting up the crop at the best time.
Right. Well, of course, hay equipment is just one of many things you have tools for. tractors of just about all sizes, and of course, you have those RTVs we like to get a word in about every once in a while.
Right, yes, sir. Kubota has lawnmowers anywhere from 42 inches to 72 inches. Tractors from 20, I stock 23 horsepower. I can get up to 140 horsepower. Of course, the RTVs are a very hot commodity item, and then they just hold up well. They offer 0% financing across the board on any piece of equipment we have on our lot. From hay tools all the way down to the smallest lawnmower. Generally, anywhere from 0% for 36 months up to 0% for 84 months.
You ever have any used equipment to sell? We don't talk much about that.
Used equipment is something we do occasionally get in. It's just it turns so fast, it's hard to keep a good inventory on it. And there's always people coming in asking for used inventory. And I wouldn't mind to have a couple of used tractors sitting here and there, but it's just a very fast-paced used market.
Got it. All right. Well, you need to at least explore what Kubota offers before you make a buying decision, and they're open conveniently for you. What are your hours?
We are open from 7 to 5 Monday through Friday and 7 to noon on Saturdays.
All right. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main, where you will find T.R. Kirby and Don Hamlet, the salespeople, and a lot of other people to take care of your needs. See you next Monday.
See you.
Thank you. All right. We're 10 and a half after the hour. State Representative Clark Boyd joins us this morning, and I guess unless something extraordinarily happens, it'll probably be your last visit to Coleman and Company this legislative session, but good to see you.
Hey, good morning, Coleman.
Nice to hear from you always, and I got your weekly update, and you've got a lot of information in here. I guess you have a few people this gets sent to each week. How does that work?
We do. We email that out. We usually get it put together on a Thursday or Friday and try to send it out to everybody early enough in the day. If it gets late enough in the day on a Friday, people aren't going to read it. So sometimes we'll hang on to send it out on Monday morning. But it's just kind of a recap of what we've done that week.
Well, I appreciate it because I can keep up with things a little bit reading that, and I've gotten one just about every week. I have a whole folder devoted to you. I don't know whether you knew that or not, but
well, thank you.
A manila folder in my briefcase back there. Well, anyway, to get to the point here, it's about quitting time. You're hopefully going to wrap it up this week.
I think we'll be done on Wednesday. We have passed the budget, which we did last week, and it was a $42.6 billion budget. Now, when that budget grows, sometimes people will cringe and they go, "Oh, is the state spending more money?" Just to clarify, about $15.5 billion of that is federal money, and then about $6 billion of it is different state entities that charge a fee and various sources of revenue like that. But the state portion is only $21.1 billion. So we've had a lot of money flow in this year from the federal government. And you mentioned, are we done for the year? Coleman, I'm hearing rumblings that we may get called back for a special session in August. Nothing controversial is going on. There's just a lot of federal money coming in, and we may have to go in and have some discussions on that and vote on how that money is spent.
Well, that's the first I'd heard about that. That's interesting, to say the least. But
I've not been told that in an official capacity, but I just keep hearing it from folks that, hey, just don't be surprised if we come back in August for a few days.
Well, what about all this? The first thing that comes to my mind, I guess, is do we really need it? And apparently Washington thinks we do. I want to think that we run such a good fiscal government here compared to most states that we probably do fine without it, but that's just a guess.
I think, some of the things that they were doing back during the lockdown, I think was necessary when and I think people like me that are free market, we had to wrap our mind around, if the government is making you shut down, then the government should perhaps compensate you if you're not allowed to go to work. And that makes sense. Just like if a government vehicle crashed through my, the front of my business, I would expect the government to put my business back in order and put the glass up and everything. And so we did that. And then we've kind of moved on from there. And Tennessee is just roaring. right now our economy is, and the federal government it keeps putting money in, and I think it's overkill. I think a lot of people believe that we've reached a point where it's going to cause commodity inflation in a lot of different sectors of the economy, just because there's only so much money that you can spend at some point. And I probably have used this analogy before, but I tell my kids sometimes, I said, if you gave everybody in the country $1 million tomorrow, yeah, everybody's a millionaire, but they're going to run out, and what they're going to spend it on, it's just going to inflate the prices of it. And there's only so many Cadillacs and Land Rovers to buy, and contractors can only build big houses. So, at a certain pace. And so at a certain point, it would undermine the value of the actual dollar. And I think that's what we're seeing. There's a tremendous amount of money coming into our public schools here in Tennessee that's got to be spent by a certain date. It's got to be spent on certain things, and every single school district is going to want to do the same thing with their money. So, and I don't want to speculate about what each school district, what LEA is going to do, because that is their discretion. But I would speculate that some of them might want to build buildings, some of them might want to buy new equipment or laptops or do various things. Well, if every district in the United States of America is all doing that at the same time, it's going to drive up building material costs. The computers are going to be, you're not going to be able to lay your hands on one. And so I think it's going to cause some problems.
I appreciate your analogy there, and I'd have to say you make some great points. And we've already reached time for a break. State Representative Clark Boyd is here. Much more coming up here on Coleman and Company FM 98.9.
And it's 7:16. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Absolute Kubota, fully staffed service center and parts department. Most of their minor services can be done the same day. Servicing Xmark, Kubota, Land Pride, Red Max, and Billy Goat. 1506 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. They're trying to wrap up this accident here on 65, just south of Trinity Lane. Actually, it looks like there's one north and one southbound. The one that's southbound, of course, is causing the biggest backup out here as we check it out live here on 65 southbound. Again, trying to push past Trinity Lane on this accident here. It's also being cleared over there on 40 East near the West Loop. That's between Jefferson Street and the 65 split. True Friends Moving Company is hiring. Call 240-2811 or go online to truefriendsmovingcompany.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Caring for a loved one is as natural as the weather. But just like the weather, one moment it's sunny, and the next, you find yourself in the middle of a storm. So when it came time to take care of my dad, I knew I needed help. A reprieve from the storm, so to speak. That's when I found the Pavilion Senior Living. They have expertise and experience to weather the storms in your loved one's life. And now I can rest easy. Thank you, Pavilion Senior Living. You should visit thepavilionseniorliving.com to find out more.
Have you heard the latest news about Xmark lawnmowers? The brand picked 2-to-1 over any other brand? Xmark is now honoring all police, fire, EMT, and military with the Xmark Honors Program. Receive up to $1,500 off on select models if you're a current or former police, fire, EMT, or military personnel. No better time than to step up to an Xmark. Come see the team at Absolute Kubota at 1325 West Main Street in Lebanon.
Coleman and Company on Monday morning, and State Representative Clark Boyd. Well, let's pick it up and change the subject slightly here.
Okay, I'll tell you some of the things, Coleman, that we've done this week. One of the big things we've done, we had to start this process in the year 2020. It's a 2-year process, but we're going to put right to work in the Tennessee Constitution. We are a right to work state. We're very proud of that, and nobody really has a problem with that in Tennessee. It works pretty well. But we're going to actually let the voters do a referendum on that and put it on the ballot. And so we have completed that process, and that just basically would enshrine in the Constitution. As we see the federal government start to threaten to overturn that in a lot of states, I think that's important. And it, folks can join a union if they want to, but they can't be compelled to just because they work somewhere where one is. So that's one thing. We passed a bill this year that would prohibit local governments from classifying workers as essential or non-essential. That got to be a little bit tricky last year during the shutdown, where some people were essential, some weren't, and then mom and pops got shut down, but Walmart was open. And so we're starting to, we've already addressed that. We talked about the big box stores versus the mom and pop. This one would just say that local government cannot classify people as essential or non-essential. What else have we done this year? We did pass something this year that I think is, it's going to be pretty good. That is that we will require a distinct watermark on all absentee ballots this year. And that got bipartisan support. When about half the voters out there, I don't know if this is an exact figure, but there's a lot of people out there right now that have some real distrust with the election process. And this would add a level of integrity. And I want to do a shout out. We have great elections in Tennessee. We have very few problems, but it's because we're proactive. We use any new cutting edge technology. We were one of the first states to adopt voter ID laws. And don't listening and you're thinking, is that a good idea? It's a great idea. I am telling you, when you talk to the voters out there, just the citizens of Tennessee, it doesn't matter what political party you're a part of, folks don't want their vote to be counteracted by an illegal vote, because one illegal vote wipes out someone's legitimate vote. And so I'm really surprised that the political class pushes back so much against this. I've had a lot of people reach out and go, "Why are you doing that, Clark? Why there's not a vote, there's not fraud going on in Tennessee, Or if they do, they think it's partisan, and they go, Republicans commit fraud. I hear all this stuff, and I go, look, what do you not like about a watermark on an absentee ballot? It's the only people that I would imagine that would be against something like this are people that intend to defraud the election process. I mean, I don't think that people in general have a problem with showing an ID when they vote, nor do they want somebody printing off a fake ballot and sending it in. This adds an extra level of integrity to the process.
If every state required a legal ID and they all had a watermark for the absentee ballots,
yeah,
wouldn't we have a lot less controversial, more honest election all over the country?
Well, the thing with the voter ID, people try to pull in and act like you're discriminating against some subgroup of the population. And when people say that, I go, what group of Americans do you think doesn't have an ID? And I mean, because everybody has an ID. You have to have it to cash a check. You have to have it if you're driving a vehicle. I mean, there are some people of a certain age that maybe have renewed their driver's license and weren't required to get a photograph ID, but we've got a process for that. It's very simple, for someone to vote that way. To me, if you're against these laws, it's because it's stopping you from committing fraud. I mean, the only people that could be against this, and I've joked several times, I've said, who doesn't have a picture ID? I said, what, a vampire? Because they can't have their pictures made. I said, that's the only group of people. We're discriminating against the dead, basically. And so I think this was a good idea. Something else that we passed this week was it gives student athletes the right to their name and their image. So just to clarify, this is not paying collegiate athletes, because there are some people that think that collegiate athletes should be paid just like professional because it's televised, and so we didn't go that route. I'm not ready for that, and I don't think Tennesseans are either. But if you are, let's say you're Trevor Lawrence or someone like that, and a local car dealership wants you to come out and just you be there and they pay you or something, right now you can't do that. And so this would give that right to that person. And one of the reasons we did this is we're starting to see this in other states. And at a certain point, it's going to put Tennessee, Memphis, Vanderbilt, it's going to put them at a disadvantage for recruiting athletes if you can go to another state and make a little money while you're in college by going out and being seen on a weekend at a business that would pay you.
Doing an endorsement, but
right.
Yeah.
What else have we got here? We had I didn't realize this, one of our constituents had not a constituent, one of my legislative friends had a constituent that died in a helicopter accident in the military. And they wanted to have the funeral and the burial on a weekend at a Tennessee veterans cemetery. And they wouldn't let him do it. They said, no, we don't work on the weekends. You can do it on a weekday. And he was just appalled. And of course, now, at the time, the commissioner and the deputy commissioner, or the two people who have since had to resign for various reasons that I won't go into. But he said this is absurd. When our service members die, especially in the line of duty, that we can't honor them on a weekend if that's what the family wants. So we passed a law that would say that they're going to have to come in there on the weekend and let the funeral take place. I didn't realize that was a thing, but we pretty quickly addressed that one.
Well,
And,
that's probably ruffled some feathers of those
Yeah.
that work there, but
Probably. It's just not a big state agency. And I think that when you're in that business, you need to be prepared to come in on a weekend. And so I think the national cemeteries do that. The other one that I'm very proud of is we passed the Mercenary Rioter Act. So if you come from outside of the state and you are committing a criminal offense as a rioter, this legislation makes it a Class C felony and increases the punishment for aggravated rioting to a mandatory minimum sentence of 45 days imprisonment for one offense and 60 days for two or more offenses. And so these are the folks that are being paid to come out and riot and not protest. Understand that there's a difference between protesting and being a violent rioter. And the year 2020, we saw violent rioters all across the U.S. and Washington and Oregon. I mean, they were outside police precincts, throwing Molotov cocktails and all of that. If you're coming from outside of state and you are just a troublemaker and you're on somebody's payroll, we're going to hammer you now.
well, did that pass pretty much through with
It did.
both parties?
Yeah, didn't get a lot of pushback on that one. What else have we got going on? How much time? Coleman, I've been moving quickly.
You've done some things on firearms this time.
Okay, yeah, we're protecting legal firearms right to privacy. So we approved legislation that protects citizens related to firearm ownership, similar to the protections guaranteed by the Health Information Portability Act, HIPAA. We're kind of doing the same thing with firearms. Information Privacy Protection Act. It'll protect Tennesseans who are exercising the right to own firearms. It will create a Class A misdemeanor for any public personnel that intentionally disclose information about an owner of a firearm for the purpose of compiling a federal firearms registry or confiscation of firearms. The bill will create a cause of action for a gun owner to pursue civil action against an individual that releases information about gun ownership to facilitate any federal government effort to confiscate or register firearms. We don't think we'll see that at the state level. I don't think we'll see that in Wilson County, but there are some county and state governments in Tennessee that would do something like that. And so this would basically make it a misdemeanor to do something like that.
All right, let's talk a minute about what's going to happen today and tomorrow. What kind of roadblocks or pitfalls could keep you from getting through by Wednesday anyway?
Well, any bill that has a fiscal note on it that was not included in the governor's budget will now be heard. And so I have a bill. I'm carrying the certificate of need bill this year. And so it wasn't my bill. The Speaker of the House put it together and he handed it off to me to carry. And so it's going to reform the process by which physicians and hospitals and different medical facilities, different things, whether it be MRI, PET scan, those type of things, how you get those. And you go through this certificate of need process at the state level. And some people don't like that. They think that it's picking winners and losers or it has a protectionist aspect to it. But we've put together a pretty good reform bill that I think is going to loosen things up a little bit. It's going to reduce cost in the medical community. It's going to take some of the regulation away, and it's going to just streamline the process. And so I have to run that bill. I'm not expecting any problem with it, but that's a perfect example. There's a little bit of a fiscal note, and so the budget has to be passed, and then I'll go back to the Finance Committee, and I will get a portion of that money that's been set aside for legislative initiatives to fund my bill, and I'll have to run it through finance, sub, finance full, fiscal review, finance sub, finance full, calendar and rules, and then I'll go to the House floor. And where that may normally take a 4-week process, because you would do sub 1 week, full the next week, calendar, so you're a month out from getting it on the floor. I may be on the floor this afternoon because I may hit sub at 10, and then at 11, the people will clear out, and the full committee people will come in. I'll run it there. Then those people will clear out, and calendar and rules. I mean, we run at warp speed this time of year, so I could be on the floor tonight running my bill. And so the problem is when the Senate and the House pass different versions of the same bill. And when that happens, whoever passes theirs first, they send it over to the other chamber. And the member there has the option of conforming to that bill and adopting the Senate version or the House version if it were vice versa, or they can refuse to conform and they can run their own. So then you have two different versions.
Right, yeah.
So we send it back over to the other chamber, and they have the option of conforming to ours. And if they don't, then the speakers of both chambers appoint a conference committee, and it can be this big fancy thing where you go to a committee room and the cameras are turned on, it's streamed, or it can be 5 or 6 folks standing in a corner discussing something. And once it gets put together, and we always have an attorney there with us, they draft up whatever changes we want, we all sign it, and then we go back to our chambers and tell the bodies about it. Now, sometimes the bodies don't like what we do. Like last year when COVID-19 hit and we were trying to pass that COVID liability immunity bill, and it got off the rails somehow, and they went to conference, came up with a plan, they went back, and the House members didn't like it. I voted for it, but there were some attorneys that didn't like it because they presumably wanted to capitalize on being able to sue folks, I guess, and so it failed after it had passed one time before, and so it's not a foregone conclusion that it's gonna pass. But so that's where the problems come in. That would be a perfect example of one. I don't anticipate any problems though this year. I don't see anything that's going to be a problem.
Well, I just want to say it's been a pleasure to have you here on alternate Mondays. We'll miss you, but if something comes up, I know you're available. And I guess you'll get back to more normal life after you adjourn this Wednesday.
That's right.
Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Coleman. It's been an honor. Take care.
That is part one of Coleman and Company. Keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:31. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Bates Ford, and that Works Vehicle Checkup is $49.95 up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal, tire rotation, safety check 2, $16.73. West Main, now at traffic. Here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still limping along here from that earlier exit 65 southbound, trying to get past Trinity Lane as they wrap up that crash over there on 40 East at the West Loop. It's been busy out here down Ellington Parkway, a little extra busy there on Ellington Parkway. People were using that as an alternate route because they heard that wreck was there earlier on 65 south at Trinity Lane. Heavy traffic through Mount Juliet on I-40. Hey, Ripley's Aquarium, Sleep with the Sharks, coming up on June 11th. All the details, Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
The Farm Bureau Expo is your premier location for an event of any scale, making meeting in the middle easy and accessible for event planners and guests. The Expo proudly participates in the Tennessee Pledge to allow our guests to attend events with confidence. For booking details or to explore events to attend, visit farmbureauexpo.com or check out our Facebook page at Farm Bureau Expo. We look forward to seeing you at the Farm Bureau Expo in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Gregory Dental in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from University Medical Center. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
To kick off the work week, rain is likely, so don't forget to pack the umbrella. Temperatures today will reach the low 80s. More showers and storms are in the forecast for Tuesday as well. Highs on Tuesday top out in the low 80s. We do dry out by Wednesday. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist T.J. Scott.
Company, welcome to part 2. It is a Monday morning, and Billy Mullinax has already come in and lightened up the room. Billy, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Good to see you as always.
It's always my pleasure to be here.
Billy is the general manager for Rocky Williams Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram of Mount Juliet, 600 Pleasant Grove Road. He does come here at this time each Monday, and we talk about no haggle pricing, where everybody pays the same great low price. Well, you look good this morning.
Well, thank you, Coleman.
And
when I come in here and I'm with you, I have to kind of clean up just a little bit.
Well, I'm smiling a little bit wider today. You talk about a baseball game that was a slugfest. It ended 13-12 yesterday with the Reds beating the Cubs in
Well,
the
that makes
10th
you
inning.
happy.
Yeah, it does. But I think it's either 8 or 10 home runs hit,
Wow.
4 or 5 by each team, and it's whoever batted last was going to win.
Right. That's right.
Anyway, of course, we talk about all you do at Rocky Williams and Mount Juliet and your no-haggle pricing, or you price the cars and not your customers, and that's really what it's all about, isn't it?
That's really what it's all about, Coleman. It doesn't matter who you are. We're going to give you our great low, no-haggle price. You don't have to work to get there to it. You don't have to do anything special. Just everybody pays the same great low price. And you don't have to negotiate and haggle. And people don't like that, Coleman. Most people just want to. It's like if you go grocery shopping, you look at it and you say, "Well, nope, I'm not going to pay that," or "Yes, I am," and you don't go up to the cash register and start haggling. And we've made the car buying process exactly the same way, and people like that. At least most people. Yep. There's a few people that just love to haggle, love to negotiate, and think they're good at it, and some of them probably are. And some of those people probably won't buy a vehicle from us. There's a few that won't just because of that.
Well, what anybody needs to do, if you're even thinking about it new, when you go to RockyWilliams.com.
Might see your neighbor there too, Coleman.
RockyWilliams.com, entire inventory of new and pre-owned cars are there. And you decide, you see one you like, this I think fits my needs, and if the price fits your pocketbook, then you're about 2/3 of the way there, I think.
Well, that's exactly right. Then it's just a matter of coming in and making sure that what you saw online is as far as the vehicle and the options and everything fits what you're looking for. Our salespeople are non-commissioned salespeople, so they don't make more because you pay more. They don't make more because the vehicle makes more money.
Mm-hmm.
So their interest is just to find you the right vehicle that fits your budget, that fits the needs that you've got.
Well, we've talked about your inventory. You have a pretty good inventory. It could be better, but you've got most anything anybody could want, I think.
Coleman, right now, of course, everybody is aware of the shortage of new vehicles. There's been a lot of talk about the chip shortage, the computer chip shortage that evidently is a real thing because it's very difficult to get new vehicles, as many as you would like anyway right now. And but we do have a good selection. We've got some beautiful vehicles, and then we also have a great selection. We've got about 125 pre-owned vehicles, so all makes and models just about, and so we've got something for everybody.
Well, if we wanted to say as low as, you have some $10,000 vehicles, some lower than that?
Yeah, we would. We would, Coleman. I don't know right now what our lowest price vehicle is on pre-owned, but yeah, I mean, we'll have some below $10,000 at times. We just want to make sure that they're a good, safe vehicle and, not going to cause people trouble.
Yeah. Well, you got a great service department, which we allude to occasionally. That's not the main thing we mostly talk about,
That's
but
right.
it is good to know you've got that in case you need something goes wrong or something that you just need maintenance done.
Well, that's right, Coleman. And all of these vehicles are made by man, so things are going to happen from time to time. And I don't know of any make or model that does not have a service department, and they're there for a reason. But we take good care of our customers. We've got a great team there assembled together to take care of you when things do go astray.
Right. Well, the sales department's open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. through 7 p.m.
That's right.
And then that's enough hours for anybody to buy a car, I think.
I think it is, Coleman.
Especially if you've already checked it out on the internet like most people do.
That's right.
And We've just started a new month here. Today's the 3rd of May, so May is one of my favorite months. Now, I don't know how it is in the car business, but weather-wise and growing-wise and spring-wise, I love it.
It's always a great month, Coleman. It's one of our better months. That's a general rule.
All right. Well, we got it started off good here on this May the 3rd. We'll see you next Monday, May 10th.
See you next Monday.
All right. Thanks so much. Billy Mullinax, he's general manager for Rocky Williams Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram of Mount Juliet. 21 before the hour. I want to welcome Sheriff Robert Bryant. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. How are you?
I tell you what, you just look like Carl Cool this morning. I like the shirt you're wearing.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, you said he was looking good this morning, but you tell me I look like what? Carl Cool.
Carl Cool, is that?
Yeah, okay. I got you.
How things going?
Going good. Going good.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Now, as I pass by your place just about every day.
Because you have to pass by because we've shut off that street.
Yeah,
so,
you did. That's right. But anyway, there's a lot of construction going on.
Whole
a
lot.
lot of parking space has been taken up by the construction and so on. But how are things going so far?
We're working through it. It's we're trying to get people used to traffic patterns and parking, where we got parking, and the construction, we did have to cut off some of the parking in that front area on East High, and we'll eventually get that back, but we just got to go through the construction phase. But we've directed people to, we've got the county took possession of the Highland Heights property. They've got a large parking lot right there behind the building, and it's an overflow spot right now. So and once we get the word out there and people start learning how how things are and where they can find parking, and there's got to walk around the corner of the building and they're not that far away. So
it might be a little bit more walking distance, but it's not that far, and most of us could use exercise anyway.
No doubt that we all could, and it's and I tell people when we built our existing building where we're at now, the amount of parking we had whenever we finished it was what we have pretty much right now, because of the fact that we didn't own the Goodyear property and all them houses down Lake Street. So we lost a few from what we had then, but courts have grown and more people coming into that building. So it's you just got to direct people, like I said, and sort of make it as easy as you can.
Well, before we go further this morning, you brought us a guest, somebody we don't see too often, but you want to do the honors?
Yeah, back when I took office, Larry Bowman was my chief deputy, and after a couple of years, he retired, and I appointed Chief Owen here, Mike Owen, to be my chief deputy, and he's, a lot of times last month I was here, and I said, I need to bring my chief out here and let him get on the radio some. It's usually me or Scott. So, we got to let him get a little bit of taste of it, and let you mistreat him a little bit. But
oh, I love that.
But now I'll take it back. But in saying that, he does a good job, and he takes care of all my personnel stuff and just about every aspect of when my phone rings, his probably rings twice, one from me and one from whoever's calling both of us. But he takes a lot off me, and I've always said it's all about the people you got working for you, and he really helps me get through what this is a trying job we're in, and but it's important that.
Well, Mike Owen, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Coleman. How are you?
I'm well, and it's good to see you, Chief Deputy Mike Owen. Now, I want we've got about 3 minutes before we go to a break here. Tell us a little bit about you. Did you grow up here?
No, sir, I didn't grow up here, but I went to school down at Belmont, graduated from Belmont, did a little time in the military, and I've been here working in law enforcement since 1988, and that's when I was introduced to Sheriff Bryan. He was a patrolman at Lebanon, and I was a supervisor, so that's how we met.
Oh, wow. So you were his boss.
That's paybacks, Coleman. Paybacks.
Yeah.
What got you into law enforcement? Anything particular that you chose that field?
Ever since I was a child, the only thing I can remember, I wanted to be a military man and a policeman. I mean, that's ever since I could remember.
Well, is what you have somewhat of a this may be a silly question. Somewhat of a dream job to be the chief deputy, be the number 2 guy, really, with the Wilson County Sheriff's Department.
Something I never wanted, something I never asked for. That's just not me. I'm here to serve. I was here to serve sheriff, and today's a great day. I'm excited. I woke up. I'm able to serve again, and that's what I like to do. And no, it's not a dream job. It's just it is a calling, and it is something I want to do, and I just love serving. I love working for the sheriff, and I love taking care of all of his employees.
Have you seen a lot of change in law enforcement in your career?
Yes. You got to remember, I think I started in the 80s, and I've seen the 90s, and I've seen the 2000s, and I've seen the post 9/11, and then up to now. And one thing that we have to do is we have to continue moving forward in our training. That's the sheriff's mission always, is let's keep moving forward. And anything that happens negatively in society, we take that, we embrace it, and we don't look at it as a negative as much as, hey, we got to learn from this, we got to make adjustments, and let's move forward, and let's do it better. And that's what we're trying to do. And it's not easy, but we're trying.
Well, he speaks well.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
I'm impressed. But you're speaking from the heart. It's just,
yes, sir.
It's obvious. And
absolutely.
So you have a heart for law enforcement and what you do, and serving.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, Sheriff Robert Bryan and Chief Deputy Mike Owen are here. We've got more to talk about after we go to this break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:46. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota, they have a fully staffed service center and parts department. Most of their minor services can be done the same day, servicing Xmark, Kubota, Land Pride, Red Max, and Billy Goat, 1506 West Main. Now in traffic, let's check in with Chuck.
Good morning. We're looking at this crash here, and it's slowing down traffic big time trying to get out of Williamson County here on 65 northbound, just north of Brentwood, there north of OHB. Again, it's in Nashville, but it's slow go here on 65 north, backing it up into Williamson County. Again, this crash northbound, 65 just north of OHB. Still very heavy traffic, 65 south, trying to get past Trinity Lane. Hey, Ripley's Aquarium, Sleep of the Sharks, is coming up on June 11th. All the details now, Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck when you're on time traffic.
Do you know why Rocky Williams Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Mount Juliet sells so many cars, trucks, SUVs, and muscle cars? Well, it all starts with a simple idea. Why not give everyone a hassle-free shopping experience for their new or used vehicle with no haggling, no negotiating, and no runaround? Every vehicle on the Rocky Williams lot is marked down incredibly low with the price posted on the window. You're treated with fairness and respect every time. No pressure, just a friendly, warm, inviting staff dedicated to finding the exact vehicle you need. So Rocky Williams Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram has become the original no-haggle, one-price dealer. Go online to rockywilliams.com to see the incredible deals yourself. Every car and truck is listed with a no-haggle low price. This is for real, and you're gonna love it. People drive for miles to get some of the lowest prices in America on their new or used cars or trucks. Go to rockywilliams.com or come on over to our brand new spacious dealership next to Walmart in Mount Juliet.
We continue here on a Monday morning. Thanks for joining us. Our first program in May, as today is Monday, May the 3rd. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope today's going to be a magnificent day, and I think we're getting started off really well today. Having already had, of course, State Representative Clark Boyd, now Sheriff Robert Bryan, and he's brought with him Mike Owen, who's his chief deputy. And I don't know whether we want to put this on the air or not, but Chief Owen, you told a great story during the break here about about the sheriff going to a church picnic and breaking both ankles.
Can I do that? Can I talk about that?
Easy. Yeah, but
easy. All right.
If he didn't want you to talk about it, he shouldn't have brought you.
It was back in the late 80s, I think 88, 89. We were both, I was a sergeant at the Lebanon Police Department, and Sheriff Bryan here was a new patrolman that had just started. And great guy, trying to get him trained and all that. And he had a bad accident, I'm going to say a month or two after he started. And he was at a church picnic, and he's really athletic, okay? He broke both his ankles, and I don't know how you break both your ankles playing volleyball, but he broke both his ankles playing volleyball. And he had just started, and he really didn't have any time built up, sick time or annual time or anything. And I remember him rolling in a wheelchair, and he coming in there, and the chief said, "Well, son, you can't work." And he goes, "Well, I don't have any time, and I need to get paid." And we stepped up, me and another one, Mike Hale and Tommy Burns, some of the old guys, and we said, "Hey, no, we'll give him our sick time. If this kid wants to come to work, man, what a work ethic you have at a young age, okay, and hope it carries on with you for the rest of your life," and it has. But it was a great thing. I mean, it was just impressive and motivating to see that.
That's a good story, and I'm glad we got to tell that on the air. You probably got a lot of other stories you can tell about a lot of different
I can't
people.
tell it on the air. I'm sorry about the sheriff. I just can't say
I
some
probably
stories.
won't be bringing him back out here, Coleman. Just to let you know that.
But you feel like I think you feel like you made a great choice in making him your chief deputy.
I did, and I've known Mike, like I said, since the late '80s when I started, and we've worked together ever since then. And it's he really believes in what he's doing, and he really he's got his finger on this profession.
Well, I want to throw something out here, if y'all don't mind this morning. It doesn't have really to do with local, but we just keep hearing about police having to shoot people and kill some of them because they're unruly. Some of them are mentally deranged or whatever. They're off. I mean, if somebody comes at you with two big knives, right, going to attack, that's what happened in one news story we heard about. Now, fortunately, I don't know of anything like that we've had here, but you've had some incidents. Every once in a while, a policeman's got to shoot that gun. That's why he carries it. And I wonder if we could have a little discussion about this. How you got to discuss this some when you have your group meetings and staff meetings, this sort of thing.
And we do. And like Mike said earlier, if something happens, it may not happen in our agency. It may happen in Nashville or other agencies across the country. We'll look at what happened. And as you said, we'll adapt to them, and we'll learn from them, and we'll figure out what was done, what in our opinion was done wrong, what was in our opinion was done right, and we put that into our training, and we discuss it, we communicate with our officers about what we see and what they see, and in our line of work, it's a dangerous job, and it's
well, your life is on the line.
It is.
There's no question.
It is, and it really scares me that lay my head down at night, and I've got officers out there that's putting their life on the line, and it's just I'd never want that call, but like you said, we adapt to them, we learn from them, and we train on them, and we move on.
Well, there's a time when the police officer, the sheriff's officer, whoever the law enforcement officer is, I think, has got to pull that trigger. I wonder sometimes if I don't want to be in that position, and if I were, I don't know what I would do, but I have wondered sometimes if rather than shooting to kill, if maybe you could do like I've seen them done in some of the movies. You shoot to disarm or shoot them in the arm or the leg. Or so. What about that?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. I think we have some law enforcement agencies around the nation that are looking at a warning shot before it's fired. Okay, I'm going to say as our office is, Coleman, either one of those two are something that we would never want to do, and this is the reason. First of all, in our use of force and range safety rules, you're responsible for every round that leaves that weapon responsible. Yeah. So if I'm shooting a warning shot in the air or the ground and there's a ricochet, or if it's in the air, it's got to come down somewhere. How am I going to be able to determine if it's going to come down or not ricochet, and it's going to ricochet in a safe direction? So that's something that I struggle with. The second thing is, like sheriff's a really good shot. I'm a pretty good shot. Maybe I've had to do a little shooting before, and I'll tell you right now, when you pull your weapon out, muscle memory, things that you've learned, what and how you have trained makes a difference. But at the end of the day, you probably need to do what is taught, and which is you aim at the biggest area, the center of the biggest area that a target presents itself. So if you and I are face on, I'm going to aim at the biggest target that presents itself, which is your torso.
Right.
Probably have a pretty decent chance of hitting that. If I'm trying to aim for your arm or your leg or something else or your hand and I miss, where's that round going? I'm responsible for it. Sure hate to hit an innocent person.
Right.
So I think it's a lot of personal opinions, theories, and policies, but I think the way we've got things going here is probably the way we need to continue doing it. It's in line with what the state guidelines are and the federal guidelines as well.
What kind of policy do you have as far as going to the shooting range or practicing with that weapon, that sort of thing? Do you do that on a periodic basis?
Yes, sir. Each year, of course, we have a 40-hour in-service training each officer has to go to, which comprises of 8 hours of firearms, which is the use of force, manipulating a firearm, more so than just shooting. A lot of things play into it. When to use it, when not to use it, plus that. We have open range day every month, so an officer can go out once a month and he can shoot, okay, under directions of our training, our firearms instructor. And it's not just to go out and, hey, let's pull the trigger and shoot some rounds, woohoo. No, everything has a purpose and intent when they go out and shoot. So we do that a lot, but I think Sheriff is, when he looked at everything that's going on today, we've kind of readjusted our training just a little bit, okay? And not that it wasn't bad in the beginning, it was good, but now we kind of got to focus on, hey, let's take a look at what we're going to do to diffuse some situations with something other than our weapon. We need to take a look at what you talked about earlier about a guy with a couple knives and so forth. We need to take a look at, and this is what he's been involved with in getting us additional training. We need to take a look at autism. We need to take a look at mental health. And we need to take a look at these kind of situations, because how do you know when you come up to something and you see a person, if they're autistic, you could think they could be under the influence of something, okay? You could be a big misjudgment on the way you handle that, reaching out and touching and so forth. So there's a lot of education that goes on that we're continuing to try to move forward. That's what the sheriff wants us to do, to move forward. And we're doing our best to identify all these type of things, because the last thing anybody wants to do or be involved in is a use of force incident involving your firearm. It's just not a comfortable thing. I can tell you firsthand, not comfortable.
Well, thank you for bringing him. I appreciate this discussion here. I think this has been
he's very
really
frank
good.
and
we've got about 3 minutes. What else is going on?
Well,
Spring is here. People are out driving more. School's going to be out. The summers will be upon us.
traffic is awful. Chris Dow talks about traffic every time he's out here, and he's right. And but it's we're doing what we can do. We're getting complaints all over the county as relates to speeders and reckless driving, and you name it, we're getting them. And just let everybody know we're doing our best. We're doing our best to get to them. And
well, I mean, I think the way you said that, anybody that's listening with both ears knows that means you got your ticket book or your citation.
Nobody we don't like writing tickets, but I mean, it gets to the point now that we get complaint after complaint in certain areas. We've got to, it's going to take more than just us stopping them and say, hey, stop, slapping them on the hand, but
or more than just your presence,
or the presence. I mean, it's nowadays. I mean, it's a lot going on in this county. Okay, a whole lot. It's the growth. Here we go, growth. Said growth again at this table. How many times that's been said? But it's we do our best. And if anybody has any problems, they can go on our website or they can contact Chief Owen over here, and we'll do our best. And we'll try to do our best, and we'll get somebody out there. We will get somebody out there, but just people need to understand that we're getting these all over the county. We may have to.
Not one particular area, all over.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Well, one other thing we might mention here, just I don't know how to remind people if they're boating to be safe. I mean, we don't like to hear about drownings either.
And no, just everybody be safe on the water. It's we're going to see more and more people out there on the water. I've been told that there's been a whole lot of boats sold over this Corona.
Yeah, right.
I've heard that and campers. It's a lot of people are, instead of going on their trips to Florida and other places, they're going here, to the lakes and stuff like that. So there's going to be more people out there, and we're going to be more actively on the lake this summer. So it's just tell everybody to be safe.
Right, and then there's always the the opportunity, and hopefully they won't overindulge in alcohol, and then that's just as wrong on the lake as it is driving the car.
It's both ways. It's bad, and it's we're going to have extra presence on the waters, on the roads, and we'll try our best to stop some of that. But the waterways are going to be dangerous this year.
I want to thank you both for coming. I really appreciate what Mike Owens had to say, and Chief, hope you'll come back again and be with us again.
Yes, sir, I will.
We wish you the best.
Thank you.
And Sheriff, we'll see you in June on the first half hour.
Get my time slot back.
That's it for a Monday. Please join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. Till then, I wish you a magnificent day.